Good afternoon. We've just arrived at the Kai'as fountain, which is in the middle of nowhere within the Namib desert. We have traveled south from the Huab river, still in search of the desert adapted lions, and now at the Kai'as fountain. We will be tracking for any lion activities around here, because this is one of the areas in which they are roaming around in search of better prey conditions, in search of exploring new areas as well. But we have trekked around the fountain, but doesn't seem like there's been any lion activities within this area in the past couple of days. But we shall still continue to move southerly towards the Ugab river side, and we're going to continue to track for any possible signs of lions in the area. Right, if you take a look on our left, we have got the old Damara ruins that we've got here. More what we call like the similar style of the stone circles built with stones. So just to give you a little bit of a background on the area where we are specifically. The Namib desert is quite a vast area, whereby it runs from the north to the south of the western part of Namibia. Certain sections of it, since it's a large area, are given specific names. Sort of like the northern section of it is known as the Kauko land. The section south of the Kauko land is known as the Damara land, where we are currently standing. So these are ruins of the Damara people, specifically a sub-clan of the Brandberg Damaras, the Daure Damaras. Daure means Brandberg, burning mountain. At sunset, from a different angle at which you are, you will see that it's more like an amber-like color that exudes around the mountain that you see at sunset, hence the name Brandberg. So these were semi-nomadic people moving around within the area, no cattle farming or no sheep farming, but mostly surviving on wild game and wild fruits that they were harvesting in the different areas once there was rain within the area. So it wasn't really a permanent site where they were stationed for years and years, but it was, they would settle around here whenever favorable conditions were around. But once those conditions have disappeared, then they would move on to some of the other areas. That is, they're either moving southwards towards the Ugab river, or they would move north towards the Huab river, because mostly that's the route that they used to travel around with as well. Well, folks, the Namib desert has got many different forms of life. And one of the interesting forms of life that we find within the Namib desert is the lichens. All throughout the north and the south of the Namib desert, they are spread out throughout the desert. Lichens is a combination of algae and fungus. It is the first form of providers of oxygen on the surface since the beginning of time. Specifically throughout the Namib desert, you've got about 123, 125 different species of lichens that you find as well. So lichens are rock encroaching, tree encroaching, and they're also ground encroaching as well. So what we specifically got here is more like the orange form of the lichens. Many vehicles travel this far down in the valley, so the road conditions are very challenging. As a driver, you have to be very alert from the sharp turns and then the soft parts that you reach, whereby you could easily get stuck, as you can see. The southwesterly wind is influencing the river system. As you can look on the left hand side on the slope, there's some fine dune sand that is developing out there. So that's just an indicator that on the surface down here, it gets a little bit challenging when you drive through. So your temperature has to be right, the tire pressure has to be very right. Look.
You drive in front, and then that car, and then you give me a call when you see tall trees. I don't know what the river looks like now. If I have time to take that thing down.
Okay. So us in front, then Ramonzo, then you. Okay. And we've got radio contact, so we'll be sorted. Did you pick anything up or?
Yeah, no, it's tracks and stuff, so we've got ways to go.
Cool. Okay. All right. Take a look on the right down here. We've got still the tracks of that male, but also activities of some other species that we see. Brown hyena has moved through here as well. Then you see the dunk here is Hartmann's mountain zebra. You found them this far down in the valleys because they are mountain-born zebras. Take a look in the track ahead of us. There's still line activities, which is a good sign. We're still tracking as we are proceeding westerly, because I mean the lions cannot really get off into the adjacent areas. They need to keep on the road where it is clear, where they can see as well where they are walking. So that's where you have to focus as a tracker, really, to see, you know, how fresh are these tracks, how long ago were they here, is it male or female, how many they are as well. That's the factors that you have to consider while you are tracking. And then possible sites where they might have lied down, that's what you have to check. Standing by, Flip.
Yeah, just to let you know, I now have to take my antenna down. There were some thick bushes here, but there's fortunately enough space to do that. So yeah, just because I'll be a little bit further behind and I might lose you. So if you see tracks or something, fresh tracks, then just sort of wait until you can talk to me, that I can swing the antenna, that we don't sort of drive past the animals.
Alright, copy that, Flip. But currently the position we have stopped at is where we think maybe the male and the female that were together that time ago, they were lied down, and more like what we think could be the split point, whereby the male decided to move easterly and then the lioness moved probably westerly down. That's what we think. So we will just hang 10 here and get to see your response.
Okay. Yeah, what does the vegetation look like? At the bend it was really thick, and that's where I'm having to take it down. And sort of, what does it look like where you are driving now?
We're currently at the point where after we took the sharp bend, and then now we have crossed over to the northern bank of the river. So towards more where there's a lot of tamarisk and salsolas around here.
And is it quite tall, the tamarisk? I'm just thinking for my antenna on top, whether it would interfere with that.
There won't be any interference, but the best advice I can give now is to maybe, if you can, come up to us, and then from here we can help you to get the antenna over, then we can scan the tracks around here, then we can move westerly. I was talking about the splitting point of the two, the male and the female. So we think this could have been the spot where they had lied down. So you can see clearly here, there's a tail mark that you see here. All right, paw marks that you see. So then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of the paw marks, and then you've got the tail, 2, and right. So then there was one lying here, and then if you could just follow me, right. Another one was lying down here. All right. So there, clearly saying that there's a tail mark that you've got here. So this one was facing to that side, and then the other one was facing to this side. So they were both having view of the opposite directions as they were lying here. So from this point, the male tracks doesn't really continue. It's only the female that continues, and actually that confirms that this is the point where they had split. All right.